It's good for us to come together on this holiday to celebrate. Christmas is a good time for us as Christians because we celebrate the birth of baby Jesus. Since Jesus was the Son of God, most of us would think he should have been born in a palace or castle. But he wasn't born in a stately castle. Jesus was born in a stable, a type of barn for farm animals like sheep, cows, and chickens. Instead of having a brand new, beautiful crib to sleep in, Jesus had to sleep in a manger. A manger is like a slanted box with legs. It's where hay is placed for the animals to eat. Imagine not being born in a hospital, but in a barn, and your crib is a dirty bin where animals are fed.
It's difficult for us to understand why God would allow his only son, whom he loved very much, to be born in a barn with smelly farm animals. But the way Jesus was born is a very important part of the Christmas story. God allowed his son to be born in a barn because he wanted the world to know his son was a gift to everyone, not just to the rich and powerful people of the world. God wanted the average person who worked fields, who tended sheep, who worked in shops, and who prepared meals to know that Jesus was their Savior as much as he was for a king or queen. Jesus Christ was born for everyone because in God's eyes, all of us are equals. No one is better than anyone else. And so God wanted his son to be born in a place that was common to the average person. It was important that Jesus be born as a common person so he could fulfill God's plan to save the world, to save each of us from sin. So let us give thanks and keep Christmas in our hearts every day.
Now let's see what happened in the stable on the first Christmas night. In a barn on Christmas night, some animals were sleeping. Up above wooden beams, a tiny mouse was creeping.
That's when you squeak! Squeak!
But in the hay, a baby lay with straw beneath his head. The angel sang, "He is the king." A cow said, "Moo."
Moo! 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 Who are you? Why are you sharing my bed? Away in a manger, no crib for his bed. The little Lord Jesus laid down his sweet head. The stars in the sky looked down where he lay. The little Lord Jesus asleep on the hay. Hee-haw, hee-haw, God's son Jesus has been born, the shaky donkey prays. Yeah.
One more time.
Yeah. Come see the wee bambino, a lamb bleeds to the sheep. Ba, ba. He comes to save his people. The chick begins to peep.
The birth of Jesus. In those days, Caesar Augustus made a law. It required that a list be made of everyone in the whole Roman world.
It was the first time a list was made of the people while Quirinius was governor of Syria.
All went to their hometowns to be listed, so Joseph also went. He went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judah.
That is where Bethlehem, the town of David, was. Joseph went there because he belonged to the family line of David.
He went there with Mary to be listed. She was engaged to him. She was expecting a baby. While Joseph and Mary were there, time for her came for her child to be born. She gave birth to her first baby.
It was a boy.
She named him Jesus. Mary wrapped him in a large strip of cloth, and she placed him in the manger. There was no room for them in the inn.
There were shepherds living out in the fields nearby. It was night, and they were looking after their sheep. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them. They were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news of great joy. It is for all the people. Today in the town of Bethlehem, a Savior has been born to you. He is Christ the Lord. Here is how you will know I am telling the truth. you will find a baby wrapped in strips of cloth and lying in a manger."
Suddenly, a large group of angels from heaven also appeared. They were praising God. They said, "May glory be given to God in the highest heaven, and may peace be given to those placed on earth." The angels left and went to heaven. Then the shepherds said to one another,
Let's go to Bethlehem to see what the angel told us about. So they hurried out and found Mary and Joseph and the baby. The baby was lying in a manger. After the shepherds had seen him, they told everyone. They reported what the angels had said about this child. All who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them. But Mary kept all these things like a secret treasure in her heart. She thought about them over and over.
The shepherds returned. They gave glory and praise to God. Everything they had seen and heard was just as they had been told.
The wise men visit Jesus.
Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judah. This happened while Herod was king of Judah.
After Jesus' birth, the wise men from the east came to Jerusalem.
They asked, "Where is the child who's been born to be king of the Jews? When we were in the east, we saw his star. And now we have come to worship him."
When King Herod heard about it, he was very upset. Everyone in Jerusalem was troubled too.
So Herod called together all the chief priests of the people. He also called the teachers of the law. He asked them where the Christ was going to be born.
"In Bethlehem, in Judea," they replied. "This is what the prophet has written."
He said, "But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are certainly not the least important among the towns of Judah. A ruler will come out of you. He will be the shepherd of my people Israel."
Then Herod called for the wise men secretly. He found out from them exactly when the star had appeared.
He sent them to Bethlehem. He said, "Go, make a careful search for the child. As soon as you find him, bring me the report that I can go and worship him too." After the wise men had listened to the king, they went on their way. The star they had seen when they were in the east went ahead of them. They finally stopped over the place where the child was.
No. When they saw the star, they were full of joy. The wise men went to the house. There they saw the child with his mother Mary. They bowed down and worshipped him. When they opened their treasures, they gave him gold, incense, and myrrh.
But God warned them in a dream not to go back to Herod, so they returned to their country on a different road.
No. Push it. When they saw the star, they were full of joy.
Wise men still seek. And now wise men still seek his face, as they did in days of old, to give the Lord their hearts more precious than silver and gold. For the King still lives today, and invites men to his side to reign with him in glory.